I'm Kevin Klein, City Councillor for Charleswood, Tuxedo, Westwood. The day after the court orders the City of Winnipeg to pay back every resident who's paid impact fees with interest, we went before the Finance Committee. Today, the Public Service was asking for more money for the Legal Services Department. This is to pay for outside litigation and for the ongoing court cost because of the many cases that the city has against them right now. I'll tell you more about that in a moment. So we took a different approach today because, I was fortunate enough in my life experience to understand when you make a decision for a business or an operation or a community club, whatever, you have to make sure you're making the right decision, because whether it's the private sector, the public sector, or a not-for-profit, you're always spending somebody else's money. It's not yours. You can't gamble with somebody else's money. So when you make the decision, you have to be prepared, especially if it's a big decision. And I'm fine with big decisions, but you have to be prepared to fight it. And if you are faced with a lawsuit after you've made such a decision, then you have to consider the facts. Can you win it? Is it important enough to you? Is it important enough to the future that you win that you know what you did was right, and you're fine to defend it? So if you're going to defend it, then you had best spend the money to have a winning defense prepared. Because if you lose so much more. So I gave a different presentation to the Finance Committee. Take a look at it, because I would love your opinion after you see it.
Thank you very much. Good morning. Good morning, colleagues. Nice to see everybody here today. I'm here to talk about the increase for the legal fees. Now, I think it's pretty obvious that I've tried on several occasions to present alternative thoughts, try to give you a different way of looking at it, and normally received with crickets, and that's fine. I'm a bit thick-headed that way, and I keep pushing along. But I came to a realization that it appears to me the mayor and most of you put your complete trust and faith in the advice of the public service. And I'm going to assume that that means you receive much more detailed briefings than some of us do. I'm not complaining about it. I'm just going to assume that that's what happens. And I have to also assume that you must, or you must know or have the confidence in what you have been presented, which would be more detailed than I, that the public service is right, or how would you vote on this? How would you vote on any legal expenses that we enter into? Because we're all adults, we want to make well-informed decisions. So, great. I will assume and, go a different direction in the sense of saying, all right, if you're right and the public service is right now that these legal battles need to be fought and that you're confident, all of you are confident because you will make the decision on the money today. As long as you're confident that this is the right thing to do, then I would ask you to look at a couple of different things. I'm here to encourage you to consider mitigating the risk of that we have with the legal cases that are before us. Ask yourself, is $800,000 really enough? Is that enough money? We had to approve 2 increases last year, 2019, one in May, one in June, for legal cases. Now, we have a budget of about $4.4 million in 2020. It says for the draft budget. About 4.4, 4.7, 4.7 through the subsequent years. Is that enough? Is that enough? I've learned that legal services has 700 outstanding files to deal with, and since last fall, and now faces 200 to 300 new requests every month for items like contractual service agreements, labor, and employment, as well as impacts to services caused by the pandemic. And that was in the Free Press, quoting one of our staff members. That's a lot. I also understand that a majority, if not all, of the cases that require litigation before the courts go to external legal counsel. So is $800,000 enough? And I have to assume that every one of you that would vote yes have more information than I do. The majority of the files that are outsourced, some of them are still before the courts. And they have many factors to consider, from what I understand, reading in the media, including, but not limited to, the volume of documents that are going to be necessary to review from both sides, There's discovery processes. Then it might be needed again. There's new motions that are added. I know you don't like to think that the corporate experience gives me any credibility financially, but in the media, we do get sued. So I can share a little bit of what I know, and you want to make sure you have the best defense so that you win. Because if you're going to spend somebody else's money, you want to win. And I'm going to assume that you are convinced that we'll win because you'd vote for this. But is it enough money? Parker Lands, we still have that outstanding. And again, you must know something I don't, based on your support all the way through. So I believe that you, with all your heart, feel that the city will win that one. Okay, I'm not going to challenge you. That's your opinion, and I have to trust, because you have the deciding votes, that that's right. But is it enough? Do you have enough money to keep fighting? I mean, the mayor of the city's not going to make a deal now with this guy. Why would we do that? We've spent hundreds of thousands, if not millions, on this already. Why would we give in? We're not going to make a deal. You're not going to let him win, let them walk away with the land and the money. So be prepared for that. We've got to fight, because it would be embarrassing now to say, oh, yeah, let's just give up. Because you've invested this much and you agreed to it. I heard that just last week, or maybe 2 weeks ago now, that there was 7 to 10 days of discovery, full days of discovery for the Parker Lands case. And there was no less than 8 lawyers paid by the city of Winnipeg in the room. You've got to fight hard. I'm not arguing with that. If you know you're right and you know you're going to win, you've got to have that money. But is $800,000 enough? I understand there's more motions coming forward. Do you believe that we have enough money so that we don't have to come back? We have the police headquarters. RCMP didn't find charges, but we are convinced. So let's do it right. Do you have enough money to fight the police headquarters? To find out who John Doe times 8 or 9 is? To find out who ABC Corporation times 3 or 4 is? Can't start these and not have enough money to win, and we wouldn't start them if you didn't think you were going to win. And obviously, if you're going to vote for it, you have the information to say, yeah, we can win this one. We're right. MTerra is going to come out soon. How much is that? Did we have enough money on that one? What if we lose? Do we have enough money set aside to pay for that? How much will that be? How much do the impact fees cost in legal fees? How much was that? $600,000, $700,000, $800,000? I don't know. But we knew going into it that we were right, and we were going to fight it. How much did the police pension cost? I don't know. But we knew we were going into it. We knew we were right. So I'm just asking you, if you're going to put taxpayers' money at risk for something, and that you feel, because you're getting different information than I am, that you're going to win, then put the money behind it to put together the best defense possible. You got to defend yourself if you're going to put city money on the table. If you're going to sit there and you're going to fight these guys, you have to have the best defense. You can't go half in. You got to go all in if you believe, when you vote today, this is right. And I'm asking you, put the right amount of money towards it. Let's not keep coming back and forth and nickel and diming this to death. How much are we at risk? That's how you got to consider. That's what you got to consider. Is it 100 million at risk, 200 million in potential losses at court, payouts that would be required by judge's orders? $600,000 for the police one. And then we had $24 million over the budget that we have to work back in. So if we're going to fight Parker Lands, we're going to fight the other ones. What's the risk? Are we investing the right amount of money to fight? Because you wouldn't be fighting if you didn't think you could win. Now, you've chosen to follow this path of court, and I'm not going to challenge you. For some reasons that, again, I don't have, you've made this decision to trust the public service, to trust your own instinctions, and to go forward and say, yep, we'll fight them in court, we're right. Then make sure you have enough money. Make sure we have the money put aside in case we lose. You know, one of the things that I was hoping for today is that, one of my colleagues would ask for a listing. There's 700 cases, 300 a month, $4 million a year in legal fees, not to mention the outside mitigate. Like, that's a lot of money. Are we ready? So I would like my colleagues to ask for a listing. What are the top 20? I'd even settle for the top 10 cases that are before the courts, or the Queen's Court. And how much have we spent on them already? And how much do we need to spend to have a winning defense so that we're not going back saying we lost? How much is that? Let's plan for that. I want to make sure you have enough money to be true to your convictions that this is the right way to spend our money, that this is best. So let's figure that out. Ask what that is. And I'd also like you to ask, what are we at risk for? What's Parker Lands going to cost us? What's this going to cost us? And would it help to set money aside for litigation and potential payouts? You don't want to trust me on other things. I get it. You choose to trust who you want to trust. That's your decision. But I'm saying I'm going to support you because you've made the decision that we can win. But do we have enough money? So think about that before you approve the $800,000. Is it going to be enough? Because that's the most important question. The other question that I would have asked first, but you've chosen to get your information elsewhere, which I have to believe is right, is can we win? What's the potential and why wouldn't we make a deal before? Thanks.
Look, it's simple. 8 lawyers at one discovery, 10 days. Think about that money. 8 hours a day, at what lawyers make per hour, and any staff that they may have had with them, all city, paid by the city. And then there's the police headquarters one, where we don't even know the names of the defendants yet. And we have the Mterra one, that could be $80 million. The Parker Lands could be $100 million. We need to know the risk. Because if we've made these decisions, and I'm going to have to assume that they know more than I do, because why would any counselor vote in favor? That's for you to discuss with your counselor. Why would you vote in favor of spending more and more money on legal fees? That counselor, your counselor, has the power to say no, or to say, we can't do this because it's too risky, or we should just sit down with the organization, group, or person suing us and reach an agreement. Stop trying to be right all the time. That's what your counselor should be doing. But they choose to make their decision based on one source, the public service. If you don't like that, you have to tell them. We need to take a different approach. We need a new way of thinking, and I would like your thoughts about that. You can leave a message on social media. You can send me an email at kevinklein.ca, kevinkk@kevinklein.ca, or you can call the office, 204-986-5232. Thank goodness it's almost the weekend. Have a good day.